Jelly and ice cream when the Rangers die. Jelly and ice cream when the Rangers die. Oops, shit, I'm live. Might not be jelly and ice cream, but it's the closest thing that we definitely have to it in the house this evening. Yes, could it be the fact that it's an upgrade from jelly and ice cream? Could it be a little upgrade from jelly and ice cream? One of the most fantastic times to be a Celtic fan was back in 2012 when up at Inverness, the halftime chant and the little dance along the front of the away end at Inverness was jelly and ice cream when the Rangers die. And we all know what happened then. Yes, they went into liquidation, they died, and they were allowed back into Scottish football by... yes. But Celtic facilitated them back then. Celtic facilitated them and not putting the foot down on the neck and killing the club off for what it should have been. Today, it has been announced, and the reason that we're talking about it is because the media are making a massive thing about the fact that they tried to draw parallels between the clubs. Now, back in around about the Ronnie Dyla era, when I was running a bus. Yes, when I was bus convener of the Joseph Rafferty Celtic Supporters Club from Kirkcaldy, and there was a lot of people who would say, but we need a strong them back. And I said back then to a lot of people on the bus, I said, look, they'll come back, and Celtic will win the 9 in a row. They will put everything in their means, everything in their power to stop us getting the 10. The 10 is all that they worry about, and it is all that they will focus on, stopping us getting the 10 in a row. And I was proved right. And they put that much into stopping us getting the 10, that they're in the position that they're in again. Since its inception, that club is wrapped up in 12 years, pretty much the same amount of debts as the previous club had when it folded. The accounts across Ibrox Way shows that they have made a massive loss. And the media in Scotland say, what headlines did the media in Scotland go? It's the first time in 10 years. It's the first time in 10 years that there's been no litigation against the club. In other words, to the normal working man in the street, it's the first time in 10 years that no one is taking them to court for money. At this current point, they've paid off all their debts, they've sorted all the court cases that are currently outstanding. It's not to be said that there's not more incoming, especially when the current building works isn't paid for. But the fact that they earned something like £91 million last year, and they still managed to make a whopping loss. They made us. I don't even want to go on about it, but I just think it is absolutely fantastic, and it's funny. It is funny because tomorrow night could be the Northern Lights turn to shine. The Northern Lights can shine in Scotland again. And it's funny because the Northern Lights has been shining quite a lot in Scotland. I've seen a lot of people down in the central belt of Scotland taking pictures of the Northern Lights that's on my Facebook. And it'll be good if the Northern Lights are just as bright tomorrow evening and help crucify the team from Govan and help maintain them in that lowly position. And then we want the other partner in crime of what was called the new firm in the 1980s to up its game a little and condemn Ibrox and the Rangers in whatever way they're known to 4th position, because I want Dundee United to ultimately overtake Rangers, and I want Hearts to go down also. That would make a fantastic season for me. And why am I celebrating it? Because just like 2012, I think we're close to jelly and ice cream time. I think we're very, very close. And Hun Tears, the 2024 edition of Hun Tears, has been absolutely fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Anyway, we better get into some Celtic news, shouldn't we? I should really play... where is it? I can't even find it now. I should really play this video and then get into some Celtic news. But anyway, if we forget about that, we get straight back into the Celtic news. It's not a gap, it's a gulf, they are saying in the media. Let's jump into the comment section and say good evening to everyone in the comment section first of all. Been on for 5 minutes and been completely rabbiting on. We have completely been rabbiting on about the fact that, I'm sure we'll talk about them again. But first up was Wex1888 says, hail, hail. Big Des is in the house in Evening Troops. Stephen Johnson is in the house. It's not Nicola from the Milton Provost, it's Davey, who's been using his wife account. So it's Davey from the Milton Provost. I would prefer that when it was Nicola, mate. Don't know. Sing up the rise. I'll probably get unsubscribed for that, but who cares? Big Chips 69 is Big Chips 69. You can't hear Big Chips 69. Go and bring back Nicola. It sounds a bit better than Big Chips 69. I can't say Big Chips 69 too many times. Anyway, he says hello to Stephen. Baz, he reckons we'll win 3-0 tomorrow. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Lennon Miller would definitely sign for the boy. He's one for the future. Big Des says there may be trouble ahead. It looks like the Safeco might pop one and they might be dead. Paul Bear's in the house, Andy Mack's in the house, Stephen Johnston, Big Des, Jim F, and we'll jump through. Gemma's in the house, Mr. Quinn's in the house, Mobley's in the house, Luke Graham's in the house, Nick is in the house, Thomas is in the house. You're correct, hope the Dons beat them. Sevco fans are delusional. Yep, I do. Dan Cassie's in the house. So why would I say it's going to be my favourite score to war at 3-1? Even the 1-0 would do for me. Baz Michael Ross is in the house. Big Chip 69. You need to change that name. 69 when I was born. Anyway, Neil Kelly says, simply depressed. More depressed than all the rest. More depressed than anyone I've ever met. How's the rest of Scotland? Eats cheesecake. Because it's an upgrade from 2012. 2012 was jelly and ice cream time. I think it's cheesecake time. And Huntiers, the perfect vintage. Vincent O'Brien's in the house. Big Des in the house. Michael Ross says, "Come on, the boys. I think I'll start drinking now. It's a drink along." Paul Baird's in the house. Lorna Gallagher says, "Baz, how many bones tonight?" Pissed myself laughing at you earlier. There's 606 bones in the body. And 607 when I see her. Aberdeen must be favourite due to the league form. Yes, they should be, JT boy. Lanky Return said, congratulations to Gemma and your other half. Yes, Gemma has had some fantastic news over the last week or so about the baby that's due. Neil Dorn's in the house passing the coffin when the Rangers died. Well, you remember that at Celtic Park. That was absolutely fabulous, wasn't it? Me too, Baz. 1969 year legends were born, says Big Des. Michael says Safeco borrowed the 10 million. These accounts to be paid back next June. I'm changing to 67 now. My wife was pissing herself laughing at you, says Big Chip 69. Yeah. Lucky woman tonight then. Gemma says, cheers to us and Lanky. Gemma, it was fantastic news, and we can't wait till you surprise us with the name of Youngin. All the best, Gemma says Hank. Carly says, Aberdeen, please do the Simpletons tomorrow. Big Chips gets a thumb up from Gemma, and Mr. Quinn says, hail, hail, Carly. Anyway, we need to talk about... I want to talk about this because there's a lot of Celtic fans who still think that we didn't do enough in 2012. We didn't do enough and we should have done more. There is an article that I've seen, and I'm going to read it in its entirety. Because of the inevitability, I can't even get my teeth in, this will develop much further. I need to get in depth and actually look at the Ibrox account to wrap my head around it. We're at a juncture today where the Ibrox club has lost almost as much money as the old club were owed the HMRC. If you asked me 12 years ago, this would be insane that the Ibrox 12 years later couldn't have imagined to get away with what they've managed to get away with. It's been galling in the fact that Celtic played the part in this. In the previous 5-way agreement, it is testimony to that. The toxic document, for one of the reasons we find ourselves where we are today. Because gradually the Ibrox club has managed to become even more shambolic than its previous entity. In the document, Peter Lawwell never sets eyes on, allegedly, has facilitated the shit show the club have behaved in the most fiscal abhorrent fashion in the history of the Scottish game. Yes, they have. And the fact that Peter Lawwell says that he never seen this document, we facilitated them in the way that we've allowed them to run up the debts that they have continually had since, and continually overspent since 2012. And there's a lot of Celtic fans still not happy with it. What else can be? For a club that has behaved like this in the history of the game in Scotland, what other club has behaved like this in the history of the game in Scotland? Look at this way, when Motherwell went into liquidation a few years back, good few years back before Rangers did, when Gretna went into liquidation, they died and disappeared. When Motherwell did it, they managed to save their club and they became a fan-owned club. This club is trading insolvent, propped up by directors' loans over the last few years. The hemorrhaging money at an exponential rate season after season. This is a travesty that any club in Scotland should be forced into administration. Well, another club gets away with murder, and that's talking about Inverness. It's talking about the fact that Inverness has been put into administration for £200,000. They were trying to raise 200 grand. 200 grand. Whilst the club across the city from us has been allowed to amass debts once again of £17 million. Yes, they've been allowed to amass, even though they had an income last year of £91 million, which is absolutely unbelievable, and these accounts will get ripped apart over the next couple of days. Here's the basic overview of the losses to June last year, as reported by the Daily Rangers. Rangers have announced an operating loss of £17.2 million in the past financial year. The Huns released a statement in the annual report accompanying the financial statement for the year ending 30th of June 2023. Now remember, Celtic's statement says that our accounts were going to be better than what people should expect. So just keep an eye out for that one. 12 months ago, the club posted a slim operating profit of 250 grand. 250 grand profit. But there's a sorrier sight now with the club hemorrhaging cash. The figures to show the record of core revenues up by 5 million to 88.3 million. Total operating expenses and costs remain high at over 110 million. Staff costs account for 61 million, down by 3 million in last year. The outlay is the short-term hand-them tenancy, which in writing the Scottish Football Association a cheque for 67 grand. 67. In the heat of Lisbon, the fans came in their thousands to the Seasafe Co. Write a cheque for £67,000 to the SFA. Anyway, it's a staggering amount, and there'll be a further more in-depth article released tomorrow, which will go through the accounts. It's interesting stuff, and is it surely jelly and ice cream time? Might not be jelly and ice cream, but I think a nice little Spanish cheesecake will do fine. Anyway, let's change the subject and talk about the game tomorrow night, because I could talk about that bunch of losers all day long. And do you know what I did say? I said about 2 or 3 days ago, keep an eye on the situation. Keep an eye on the situation with Inverness. Keep an eye on the situation with Inverness, because they've went into liquidation on only £200,000. Now, they've paid off players and they've done what a club is prudently going to do to try and cut down costs for somebody to come in and take over the club. Now, Sevco have been allowed to amass debt after debt after debt, being held up by loans by directors, and also they took out a loan a few years ago with the Close brothers. Now, companies that take out loans with close brothers are generally companies that cannot get banking facilities. And I have it on good accord that the repayment for that loan was a 50% APR. Was a 50% APR, and that was never spoken about by the Scottish media. And the only reason I know that is because my brother works in the same industry, and he saw the documents. So that's I can't go very further than that. But he saw the documents because it had to be insured. There has to be an insurance policy taken out due to so that they can make sure that they could pay it, so that the close brothers could recoup any money in case thus said company went into liquidation once again. But anyway, and I'll never forget 67, saw that game, James Thomas. I just think it's unbelievable. So keep an eye on, I think the most important thing that we need to keep an eye on is how the Scottish SFA and the leagues deal with, because if they're dealt any different, and if they're not given the same chances that Sevco have been given, it's you know what is wrong with the Scottish game, and then it's the end game. There has to be some sort of end game, but what it will be, who knows? Take your job with you. I really think Dons will do. Jared Zamora says Celtic mad. Hot and Ice were great back in the day, says. Talking about Hot and Ice for. Damn, Matt's killing myself, says Carly. Right. There's a couple of other Celtic news. The Celtic game tomorrow versus Dundee is a home game. It is a home game, and it will be on Celtic TV, and it will also be on pay-per-view. Yes, Celtic once again taken to pay-per-view with the games at Celtic Park because it can raise more money. The game will be available. The game is due to take place against Dundee on Wednesday, the 30th of October at Celtic Park. Brendan Rodgers are on their quest to win the league again. Fly the flag, fly the flag. We've won the league again. But Aberdeen are hot on our heels, hot on our tails, and just they're actually level on points. But they take on Sevco tomorrow night, and they will want to punish the Rangers as much as possible. I fully expect Aberdeen to take full advantage of their situation, being way ahead of Rangers, and I fully expect Aberdeen to punish Rangers up in Aberdeen. Dundee, meanwhile, find themselves in 8th place in the points, 8th place in the league, with 9 points. The last time the two met, Celtic destroyed Dundee 7-1. Getting excited about the game tomorrow. There was goals that day from Cameron Carter-Vickers, Adam Eder, Matt O'Reilly, Dyson Maida, Greg Taylor, Callum McGregor, and Daniel Kelly. I wonder whatever happened to him. Is he playing first team football, Daniel Kelly? Does anybody know? I don't think he is, isn't he? I don't think he is. We've never heard anything about Daniel Kelly since he left Celtic, and I don't think he's even getting first team football. But anyway, he's one that's left Celtic and moved on to Pastures News. The kick-off tomorrow night is at 7:45 Celtic Park time. And we will be alive an hour and 15 minutes before the game as normal. Will it be on TV? Nope, it will be on. It's not being selected for Sky Sports or Premier Sports, as they all opted for the Rangers, Aberdeen Rangers game, which is due to kick off at 8 p.m. Yes, Celtic kick off at 7:45, so we will be live right after the game, and all eyes will be on Aberdeen. So make sure that you join us for the live tomorrow night. We will be celebrating the Celtic victory, I hope. Fingers crossed. We'll be celebrating a Celtic victory. We'll also be turning the telly over, and we'll have a bit of watch along. Hopefully the Aberdeen are doing their trick, and we'll celebrate an Aberdeen victory. Ultimately, I want to celebrate an Aberdeen victory, hopefully. But anyway, it's going to be a fantastic game up in Aberdeen, I'm sure, with plenty of drama, but Celtic need to do the business tomorrow night. It doesn't matter what happens, Celtic need to win to maintain our position at the top of the league. Now, what is your predicted lineup for tomorrow? Now that we know that Adam Eder is not going to be is not going to be in contention at all, and it's a case of we're waiting to see how long Adam Eder will be out the game for. no better beat Aberdeen and they couldn't help but raging. I'm just reading. Who really cares about Aberdeen? And then let's focus on our games. Yep, where's soonest when you need them? Who cares? Watch along, Baz. Des, yes, there will be a watch along tomorrow night after watching and have a bit of hilarity. And then, as normal, if they do get beat, we'll jump on that other side and then see what the meltdown will be. Absolutely fantastic tomorrow night if it goes the right way. Anyway, prediction for the home game: Celtic Dundee Wednesday night. Celtic went out obviously in the summer and bought what was possibly the best player from Dundee. Defender Cameron Carter-Vickers came back and made an appearance in the second half of the game at the weekend. He was a second half substitute. Could he force his way back into the team? Can Greg Taylor, will he be in contention, or will he again be on the bench during the displays and the form of Alex Bailly? Brendan Rodgers has got a big decision to make after the 3-0 win, which was more comfortable than Brendan Rodgers thought it would be at Motherwell at the weekend. He brought in at the weekend, obviously kept Austin Trusty on the pitch. He brought in James Forrest, he brought in Paulo Bernardo. Will those two players remain on the field? I think so. I think they will. Definitely Paulo Bernardo, because I don't think Callum McGregor will be 100% fit. I don't think that he'll get chanced for the game tomorrow night, because they want to make sure that Callum McGregor goes to Hampden. Callum McGregor ultimately knows how to win at Hampden. He knows how to motivate the team. He knows how to play in that big pitch. He's got the experience of playing at Hampden and consistently winning at Hampden. Apart from one game a good few years back. Anyway, the prediction lineup for tomorrow for me is obviously going to be Kasper Schmeichel in goals, Alistair Johnston, who was the captain at the weekend, who played a fantastic game. Excuse me. Cameron Carter-Vickers to come back into the team, but there's going to be a massive decision that the boss will have to make. Does he push Liam Scales off to the bench and move Trusty to the natural position that he has, or like he did at the weekend, when he brought on Cameron Carter-Vickers, he moved Trusty along one position so that you could see Trusty and Cameron Carter-Vickers playing together. Ultimately, this is why Trusty was brought in, to play alongside. Now, you can deny it all you want, but this is why Brendan Rodgers brought him in, is to play alongside Cameron Carter-Vickers. Is Liam Scales good enough to go out to the left-hand side? No, not as a wing-back. I just don't think that he just doesn't give enough in that position for me personally. But I think Cameron Carter-Vickers and Liam Scales might start the game, but you never know. You never know. The manager might want Scales just to sit out and get a bit of rest time before the game against Aberdeen at Hampden at the weekend. So it's a big decision, and we don't know what the manager will do till an hour and 15 minutes before kick-off tomorrow. But if it's not Liam Scales, it'll be Trusty that will play. It's going to be the one or two of them. Cameron Carter-Vickers will get the first 60 minutes just to give him as much game time as possible, and then I reckon that young Alex Bailly will remain on the pitch. He's been in a bit of good form. He is going to be here. We know the current situation, there's no use going on about it again, but that's going to be your back four, I think. And then in the midfield, I think it's going to be much of the same, although I think Arnie Engels might be brought in for the first 60 minutes or so against Dundee tomorrow night, just to keep a certain player for the weekend, but we don't know. But anyway, Luke McCowan, I expect him to start against Dundee. Arnie Engels, Rio Hatate, if that is the ones that are going to play, I don't know actually, because Paulo Bernardo played in the position that Callum McGregor played in, so you would expect him to play that in that position against Dundee, just to have a bit of continuity. Who was the manager that used to say that about Celtic? Mr. Continuity himself. So would you have Paulo Bernardo and Luke McCowan further forward and Rio Hatate? Leave Arnie Engels for the weekend game to be fresh against Aberdeen. And on the wing, you're going to have Nico Kuhn, Dyson Maeda and Kyogo Furuhashi. The bench, therefore, will be rather light. And when it comes to it, can Dyson Maeda at any point change over from Kyogo Furuhashi? And would it freshen the team up any? Taking Dyson from the wing, where he's having to do a lot of running, and would he have then the legs? Well, he's got the legs and he's got the pace, but would he have it still in him for the last 10-15 minutes, 15 minutes of a game? Certainly, because you want to make sure that you take Kyogo off as soon as we've got this game in the bag tomorrow. We do not need another striker being injured. That's all we need to say. The fact that I think that Adam Eder is going to be out for a couple of weeks, 3 games anyway, I don't think he'll be ready for the Champions League game next week. He's definitely not going to be ready for Hampden, apart from a miracle. The fact that they sent him for scans this afternoon is to see exactly how much damage is done to the ligament on his ankle, on his foot, and that will determine that once they have a look at that, they'll say, right, it's ligament damage, you're going to be out for 3 weeks. It is what it is. He's probably got that black line that goes right along the foot and the swollen ankle, and it's all black and blue. But anyway, tell me your thoughts on that lineup, and then we're going to go into the predictions, what we think the scores will be on the doors tomorrow. We're going to jump into the comments section before we do that. We're going to jump into the comment section, and then we're going to have a little giggle about the fact that they're in some amount of shit-faced mess. When you look at the money that they brought in over last season, and they still managed to make a £17 million loss, which is a 7.9 deficit on player trading. That's them giving away players for nothing. That's the inability of them last summer to be able to sell a single player for any kind of money. Well, Celtic player trading model is absolutely fantastic. Now, we'll talk about them in a minute. Let's get what you think the scores will be after I went into the comments section. Big Des says, Lanky Return says, Kelly has played 2 games for Millwall. Results. Is that it? Well, good for him. Even though they were quarter way through the season, he maybe have played more games for Celtic if he'd stayed at Celtic, but it is what it is. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. There again, the Huns went bust. Haha, Baz, get your money on a red card tomorrow. Beat the Hun referee. Des says, Big Carly, I'm trying to control my mental health. I didn't really need to read that out, did I? JT Boy 67 says, the brass neck of the Zombies likely to play Barn against Aberdeen, and they've to still pay for them. Totally skint FC. I also seen a tackle that Connor Barn made at the weekend. He was lucky to stay on the pitch, wasn't he? He almost kicks the guy in the face. Anyway, I wonder what price the sheep are to win. Maybe good given the Huns giving a goal to start, boost the odds. Tommy Gallican here for Terry Monroe. Oh, look, we've got a zombie in. Oh, how sweet. RFC 1872. How sweet that you came along for the ride. Nobody delete him because we want to keep him in for a bit of banter. Oh, how sweet is that? RFC 1872. Terry Monroe. Oh, God. How you live for just stopping 10 in a row. Just think Celtic are going to win another 9 before you get that chance again. Oh, it's exciting stuff, eh? But then again, your club might go bust again, and we'll be sitting eating jelly and ice cream, or will it be cheesecake and ice cream this time because we've went up market a bit. And then you can't forget the 2024 edition of Hun Tears. Yeah, it is a little bit bitter, a little bit off, but it's a good vintage, just as good as the rest since 2012, isn't it? 12 years of absolute pain for you. Anyway, we move on. Welcome to the chat, RFC 1872. Make sure that we don't chuck them out because let's see if we can. Well, there's another one. Perry's in for 4-0. I don't know about that one. But anyway, here is going to be 4-0. We'll get loads of them on. Come on, you zombies. Come in. Because you know that this is where the champions are. You know that we've got like 80-90 million pounds in the bank, and you'll say, oh, but pay the victims, pay the victims, pay your tax bill and pay the debtors. Anyway, Luke McCown's a start for tomorrow, says John. Catholic Rebel says 4-0 to Celtic. JT Boy 67 says 4-0 Celtic, 3-1 for Aberdeen. Craig says my 14-year-old just came in and said, see how you don't know what to get me for Christmas. What a bit of loft conversion. I hope Santa's got a hammer ready. Carly says huge semi and drilling holes, can he beat it? There we go, Carly. Zach, you might have had a point with the draw with the Sheep and the Huns. No one to have them struggle. 5-0 tomorrow night, says Kieran, and 3 up by half time. The sewers are overflowing at Shitbox again. Christopher says 5-1. How are you this evening, Christopher? Lorna Gallagher's going for 3-0 tomorrow. Jelly and ice cream again, says the Baldy Trucker. It's not jelly and ice cream, we have moved up. That's such a 2012 thing. We're having cheesecake in this day and age. Yeah, we're going a bit posh, isn't it? Yep, no more jelly and ice cream. That's Toast 2012. It's cheesecake and Huntiers. Fabulous. Gemma's going for 4-0 tomorrow. Carly is going for 4-0 to the mighty Glasgow Celtic. Edward says Aberdeen 2, Rangers 1, Celtic 4, Dundee 0. Perry's going for 4-0. Perry's going for 4-0. I take it he's meaning to Celtic. Mr. Quince says, laughing at Carly, just logged on. What have they done now? Says Billy Dunn. Oh, you need to go back and watch it for the beginning, mate. We'll talk about it towards the end. But Big Chips, Nicola for the Mountain Provos. I can't say his full name. Big Chips for the Mountain Provos is going for 3-0. Liz Donnelly is going 3-0. Jamesy Boy is going 3-0. Big Day says, no Baz, keep them out for the one Celtic fans view. They breed negativity. I think he's disappeared anyway. I think he just came on and done the one comment, and he's hiding now in case he gets banned. There seems to be a lack of spanners, Lorna's in, and Paul Baird's in, Tal Matt's in. No, there is spanners in. They just never kicked him off. Anyway, Michael's got a let me just jump back through these comments. Despite 10k fewer seats in the lower commercial deals, Sevco's still running a wage bill on the same level as Celtic. Who cares? Scott says several dodgy decisions tomorrow night for the Jers at the weekend. Yep, talking about the dead RFC. 10 in a row for Terry Monroe, says Perry. Oh, Jesus. Oh my goodness, you got to laugh at them. Come on over to our place. Hey you, we're having a party. Wonder if they'll subscribe or give someone the money to some needed charity. Just in, Joseph is saying he's going for 2-0 tomorrow. I think you've got that the wrong way around because it's at Celtic Park. Father Beaton is ref tomorrow. John Michael Ross says, Jason, I think the Sheep will stiffen the opposition. Ibrox says the smell is ground in Scotland. It's official. The Huns can't face listen to their own misery channels, so they come over here. Not a better sight than a sheep pumping I didn't even want to think about that. I hate prediction that says Tarmac. Mr. Quinn's going for 5-0 easy win. He's going 5-0 easy win. Joseph Coyle is going for 4-0. We've done that one. Have we? No, we've not. Mr. Quinn's going for 5-0. John's going for 3-1. Jed's going for 5-0. A lot of big score lines. It's at Celtic Park. I think that it will be. I always like going for 3-0. I think we'll definitely get 3 goals. Dundee are no bad team, but they're not sitting pretty in the league, so I think it will be a Celtic win no matter what. Morag is going for 4-0 Celtic and 3-0 for Aberdeen. Justin Joseph is going for 4-0 Celtic. John is going for 3-1 the Sheep. Big Chips says, alright, Jed, it's Big Chips. It's Nicola for the Mountain Provos. Mark the 67 is going for 5-0. Well, I expect my ex, he's handsome. Why is he your ex then, Carly? I forgot it's on. Celtic 4-0 tomorrow, Aberdeen 3-1. Michael Ross says, I've had a face like a Hun, I teach my heart to speak. Many of them do. Lorna Gallagher says, I wanted to laugh at him, Baz, but he fucked off. Yeah, he didn't come back into the chat, which is a shame. It is a shame. Do you think Brendan Rodgers will use Dyson as a second striker and play James Forrest? Yes. We kind of nudged on that. Will he start? Ultimately, he needs to start Dyson Maida from... Let's get back on the Celtic chat. He needs to start Dyson Maida from the beginning tomorrow on the wing. He needs to make sure that it's a settled team and a fully fit team going into the game at the weekend, because ultimately, the game at the weekend is our biggest game of the season in the Premiership. Aberdeen managed to draw with us at Celtic Park. With the wider pitch at Hampden, will Aberdeen, they'll not fear going to Hampden. They'll think that they can come, especially if they get the result tomorrow night. They'll be full of confidence and full of, let's go to Glasgow and let's put on a show for our fans, because they are going to have a bigger fan base than normal. When they come to Celtic Park, they will travel down in their numbers thinking that they're going to do something special against Celtic and put Celtic out and get to the final. But ultimately, Celtic have won many semis at Hampden and got through to the final. And generally when we get to Hampden, we're unbeaten under Brendan Rodgers, and I think that will give us the little push that we need just to get to the final. And I do expect this to be the first bit of silverware that we pick up this season, and ultimately it will change the number on this trophy from 21 to 22. Yes, and then I expect this one to go to 43, this one to go to 55 this season. I do expect it to go to 55 this season, and that'll make James Forrest one of the most decorative players, trophy-wise, in Celtic's history. It'll make him the best above Bobby Lennox. What an absolute fantastic achievement that is for little Jamesy Forrest. He's not little now, he's old now, isn't he? He's like the wee old man. He's like the wee green thing on Star Wars, isn't he? Lorna says that she wanted to laugh at the zombie, but he buggered off. Do you think Brendan Rodgers will use Dyson as a second striker and play James Forrest? Yes, I also think that Louis Palmer might get a bit more game time tomorrow night if we need to bring on Dyson through the middle. But anyway, the Buns have only scored 1 goal away from home this season. Gee, really? Is that it? Now that Clement is gone, I reckon Rangers players and Rebel will want out as possible. Clement isn't gone. He's not gone. He's not going anywhere, Clement. Not a chance. Big Day says, I think Brendan would rather start Hatate and bring him on in games. Now, Baz, would you be against loaning Aberdeen 2 players to help them finish the second, Yang and Ohm, for example? No, because they couldn't afford their wages. And I don't think that the Aberdeen manager would bring anyone in loan from Celtic. I think that he's got his own way of running the club, and he'll have his own type of player, that the same as what he did in the summer. They sold their striker for, what was it, 6.7 million or something, and then they went out and bought a winger for something like 900 grand. So he knows the European market, so he'll dive into that for them. Doms will rather them, I bet. Tamak says, Mitchell, what I thought. Jim McClarty says, we have to start upping our game. We're far better the way we are playing than the way we are playing. Do we need to start upping our game? Is it not just that time of season? We're starting to get to the halfway point of the season in the next month or so, and you always take a little bit of dip at this time of the year. Well, Celtic can sometimes always get off to a flyer. You have your really good period, which we've had. We've not had the major injuries that we've had in previous seasons, and I think that now that we're starting to get players that have picked up knocks, your Callum McGregor, you've had Cameron Carter-Vickers, who was playing through the pain barrier, and then ultimately Greg Taylor. Now the one to watch over the next couple of weeks, as I've always said, will be Greg Taylor. I think Greg Taylor's game time will be limited at Celtic, just to make sure he doesn't get injured going into the January window. False accounts, 16 million bill for the stadium work. That's the bill for Hampden. Lorna Gallagher says, good night everyone, take care, and we're off to chat to my family in Australia. There you go. Just bring them on here, because you come on and talk to Uncle Stuart. Dan Cassie says, oh well, I think they should be definitely bring some Dazzle and Scotland for God's sake, a big CVCV as well. When you look at the game tomorrow, and I think it's a game where Dundee, I think they might go for it the first half, because they'll know that Celtic don't really like teams running at them, but the position that Dundee are in the league, they're sitting in 8th position. Kilmarnock get a result, St Mirren get a result, and they're then dragged down into that relegation battle by the 2 Edinburgh clubs, and I still want Hearts to go down. I mean, for me, if Kilmarnock and Hearts were to get dragged down in a relegation battle at the end of the season, it would just top off a fantastic season, especially if Dundee United get above Rangers and get up the league slightly. But the fact that Dundee are down in 8th position, they're sitting on -2. They've only scored 6 goals all season. 6 goals against, sorry. So it's not been high scoring games that they've been in, that's away. So they've scored 5 goals away from home and 6 against, sitting away from home. At home, they've been leaking goals like nobody's business, haven't they? But away from home, it's been tight affairs. It has been tight affairs, you could say. But ultimately, they're sitting away down there. Celtic are away further up on 24 goal difference. Celtic will want to extend their goal difference by a good few tomorrow evening, because Brendan Rodgers will know that even though Aberdeen are up there, he'll expect, and privately Brendan Rodgers will be expecting an Aberdeen win tomorrow night. And he also knows that because they are on the same points as us, it is absolutely paramount that Celtic extend their goal difference as much as possible. Because if the unthinkable was to happen and we get to March and Celtic and Aberdeen are still neck and neck within the league, I don't think it will be, because I think that we ultimately will beat them. Once we beat them in the semi-final, I think the next time that we play them up in Aberdeen, I think they'll just crumble, to be fair. They might not. It's always a tricky game up in Aberdeen, but there was a game where up in Aberdeen has always been turning points, and it's always that game round about the December time. It was a turning point for Ronnie Dyler. When Ronnie Dyler won away at Aberdeen, that cemented him to go on for a run and ultimately win the league. It was a turning point for Brendan Rodgers, his first time round also winning away up in Aberdeen, and it then takes Celtic to go on a little run after that, and then that's what pushes us way in front. And I think the exact same will happen this season. Mark Scott says if Celtic win tomorrow, it's actually a win-win. Sevco only seem to pay 70 grand for Hampden rental. It's false accounting if they get that wrong. It was 67,000 that they said, hence the reason that we were singing the 67 song earlier in the video. Paul Baird says look to score tomorrow night. I think Luke McCowan will score. Will he celebrate against Dundee, his old club? I don't think he will, because you remember when Henrik Larsson scored against Celtic when he was at Barcelona. Henrik Larsson was kind of embarrassed and he didn't celebrate at all, although his teammates were over the moon that he scored against us. But I think that you're right. I think Luke McCowan to score tomorrow, and to be a very tame celebration, to say the least. Michael Ross says just praise that there's no injuries with a huge semi looming large. Andrew says, well, we'll take that. And astonishing typhoon wasn't up the road for us. Tamak says exactly Baz. AJS Tech says Sevco will need a bank loan to sack Clement. They're never going to sack Clement. He's on the contract to 2028. They can't afford to sack him. He would take at least £4 million more. He would take £4 million. I mean, if he's on a contract to then, he'll be wanting paid up at least $1 million a year for the remainder of his contract. He's bound to be on at least £1 million a year to manage that lot. I mean, you're not going to take the job for any less than that, surely. But I mean, he's going to take £3 million at the club, which they don't have. So that's why they can't sack him. So stop talking about. I mean, it's they're talking about sacking him. I think that anybody that's got a bit of savvy about them knows that they can't deserve it. Aberdeen deserve the credit and respect for what they have achieved so far this season. Yes, they do. And let's hope the ref is fair to them tomorrow. After seeing some of the tackles and some of the nonsense that wasn't given at the weekend for St Mirren, if that goes on at Aberdeen tomorrow, the game in Scotland's goosed, and we need to get rid of the referee in Scotland, because we all know who they're fighting for. RGL67 says, not sure about that. Luke was born a Celt, so I can see him celebrating a goal. I think it's always difficult when you've been at a club. Players give that club a little bit of respect, because if it wasn't for that previous club, you wouldn't be at Celtic. And as much as he will absolutely love scoring for Celtic, he's a football player and he knows it's his job, and he's got a lot of respect for what people at Dundee have helped him achieve in his career and getting him to the position he's in. So anyway, that's just my take on it. We've got to keep Flip. He's the new Beale. The Rangers get VAR review for the financial accounts. Who knows? Might do an old school, put one of those earphones in and listen to the Sheep Zombie game tomorrow. I'm not going to. I'll just look at the Twitter. Celtic for Life says if Bangers get their play in Aberdeen, if Bangers were playing Aberdeen, they would be in full on media pundits. Don't think Luke would celebrate. He's a class act bag, says Hamp. I don't think he'll celebrate. I think that he would treat Aberdeen, he would treat Dundee with the respect that he would give them, because without Dundee, he wouldn't be at Celtic, and he knows that. He got a mindset coach when he was at Aberdeen, and I think he was preparing himself for that big move. It was obviously, these tiny things are always spoken about before. I mean, Celtic just don't come and knocking on the door in the last minute of transfer window. There's obviously the speculation during the summer. Look, Celtic have been looking at you. There might be an offer, there might not be. Players hear about it through their agents, and then it finally happens. Stonewall penalty denied against St Mirren against the Hunts. I don't really want to talk about them anymore. Anyway, we've done the predicted lineup and the scores for tomorrow. Strange that Celtic are putting the game on pay-per-view again. Let me just see, because there's an update. This is a story that just doesn't want to go away. Who cares? It's just another Tierney story. But anyway, yeah. We're going to the... Where is that one with the accounts? We've done that. Done and dusted it. Anyway, Mark Scott says, hail, hail, bads, God bless. And he's given us a £2 super chat. Absolutely fantastic, Mark. Thank you for that. Big shout out to Mark Scott for that super chat. Pretty well since we had one of them. Baz says, changing it to Davy Morton 67. Do that. He's changing it from Big Chip 69. Bow, 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 bow. I just see you with your shirt open and your hairy chest out and walking about with a moustache and that look. Big Chip 69. Hey baby. Hey baby, it's Big Chip 69 coming at you. Nicola, coming at you. It's Big Chip 69. Dear Pot Shop Success Best, Tarmac, Easy Cowboy, Ten Hag sounds like Sevco ladies. We have players set off. Patrick says Luke McCowan has a lovely loyalty to Dundee United fans and the board and staff members. Dundee United? It was Dundee we bought him from, not Dundee United. Port Shop Express, get well soon, Tam Mack, who's having a little bit of trouble just now. Paradise Found says Brendan is worth 16 million. Let's talk about what Brendan's worth at the end of the Champions League. Remember, we said that we would analyse Brendan's tenure at that point, because we're at the halfway point of Brendan's contract. He was given a 3-year contract at Celtic. At that point, when we come out of the tail end of the Champions League stages, and hopefully we'll qualify for a further 2 games, but when it comes to the first round of this 8 games, we did say that we would analyse his performance based on his European results, because we always said that this was a big season for Brendan Rodgers and that he had to make big inroads in European football for a lot of the Celtic supporters to finally, maybe not so much forgive him what happened the last time in the way that he left, and even though that he was forced out the door because Lawwell wanted the 10 million, and the fact that people didn't believe that he could do it in a European context. So we'll wait till we'll judge what Brendan's worth then, and not before it. If Motherwell are asking for that red card to be rescinded, yes, Stuart Ramsey, Motherwell did ask for the red card to be rescinded. And I think that the SFA went, you having a laugh, mate? The guy's in hospital. Look, there's the video. Look at as much times as you want. Heard Rodgers is worth about 15 million. Oh, you're talking about his actual worth? He's bound to be worth more than 15 million. He's on 3 million at Celtic. And imagine what he was paid down in Leicester. And you imagine what he was paid at Liverpool. His Liverpool boss. He's way worth more than 15 million. He's got a holiday home in Mallorca, not far from Santa Ponza, and the average house property there for holiday homes is in the region of 5 million. So he's no short of a bob or two. I'd suggest that he was worth more than 5 million, even if it's even if it's a small place, it's going to be worth a couple of million where it is. What's the poll, Baz, says Michael Ross. I don't think there is a poll tonight. We'll keep all the banter for tomorrow. Since the women's team is the only one to play in the camel top, they should change it to a camel toe top, says Jock. Why is Celtic not played in the camel top yet? Celtic need to get a game in the camel top. What's the use bringing out a top if we don't play in it? It's getting stinking. Jed, man, it's getting stinking from everywhere. Anyone saw the feed the bear? Not tonight. Ask Ten Hag to be sacked so he can get the Rangers job. I don't think so. Paul McCune said 4-0 Celtic or 5-0 Celtic tomorrow. RGL67 says, to be fair, they just won a double, so they know he's worth. Not bothered about the price tag. Just happy he's at Celtic. It's all good banter, says Jed, because he's getting it tight for everyone in the comments. Celtic Mad says, Ida was wearing a moon boot at Motherwell. The manager says the tackle wasn't bad. Yeah, he was wearing a moon boot when he left Motherwell. He was wearing a moon boot when he left Motherwell, and he's been sent to the doctors today for a scan. And Brendan Rodgers will wait till tomorrow to get the price on his scan. Anyway, I'm still buzzing. Brendan Rodgers is back, says Carly. He's got a portfolio of houses, says Mac the 67. Yeah, but he's only got one that he comes out and stays at during the summer, and that's the one just up for Santa Podza. Tonight's poll should there be a poll? No. I'm off to change my username, says Big Chip 69. Thank goodness. Martin Johnson says, hail Baz for the Coventry Emerald Celtic Supporters Club. Fantastic bus. Fantastic boys sitting in 111. BR's Doug has a fitter account. Oh, Jesus. Pork Chop Accessories. Brendan Rolex watch collection is worth more than the Huns. Rebs and Celtic panel on. The Bronx. Is McCowan an upgrade on Turnbull? Yes. Yeah, that's a good one. Jamesy boy, that's a good one. That's a good one. There we go. Say if somebody comes up with one. We'll do a quick poll. We've been on for 51 minutes. We'll do a poll for the last 9 minutes or so. And it is... I think we all know the answer to it. I mean, we sold Turnbull for 3 million, and we brought in McCown for 1 million. So it has to be an upgrade. Of course, it's an upgrade. Turnbull was never as good. I mean, Turnbull was the last player. And here's the thing: Turnbull was the last player that we brought from Motherwell, and we paid Motherwell a good bit of money for him back in the day. Will Lennon Miller be the next player that we buy from Motherwell? That's the question. That is the question. Keith Roberts says the Huns are up a greasy pole. They're up more on a greasy pole. Don't know, they're called moon boots. They're nothing like astronauts boots. Carla says they don't know why they're called moon boots. They look nothing like an astronaut's boots. It's just the size of them, I think, Carly. Big Des says it's good to know that if our squad gets depleted, we have the players already earmarked. Apparently, of course we do. It's the way that Celtic has run over the last couple of years. Right, get as many votes in as quick as possible. As soon as we get up to 100 votes, I'm going to shut the poll down, and then I'm going to get finished because we've been on for 52 minutes. Easy poll, that one, says Tam Max. The Bronx says, give a shout out, Baz. Open the panel after you finish, man. Give us a shout out and open panel after you finish. Open panel, open what panel? Says the Bronx. Patrick says moon boots are a medical for safety reasons. Paul were Sefco shite. Yeah, I think we all know that. Is McCown an upgrade on Turnbull? 3% are saying no. Who are these people with an hour missed? I think if we get people just voting no, just the opposite of everyone else, just for the sake of it. Michael Royce, tonight's poll should be, is our semi bigger than Sefco's? Ask Carly. Called moon boots because they're like walking on air. We should offer Motherwell Taylor plus money for Lennon Miller. Interesting, Paul. That is interesting. I don't think that Motherwell could afford Greg Taylor's wages, so I think that would do. I'm doing a Celtic chat after you finish, mate. The Bronx, you're doing a Celtic chat on your channel. Fair enough. I'll jump onto that. Let me just go to channel. Well, you have no videos. Yeah, slipper flopper. Streamed 8 minutes ago. PP is a flipper flopper. I need to listen to this. Give me a second. Oh, fuck. Oh, it's. What? The Bronx, you know, your stuff's up in blue and in blue and white. Jesus, man. Oh, what a laugh. That's one of the called out airboats. Everyone going to this. The poll should be about Miller come to Paradise. And we can't talk about another player just yet. 88 votes. Come on, I need 12 votes before we shut down this poll. 90 votes. I need 10 votes. Put the link up. Big Rabs. You don't. I just went on the channel. RGL67. Turnbull never hit the heights he should have. I see McCowan becoming a very useful player for us. He already is. Big Des says, do we still have the oxygen tank and the speed recovery time? I remember Paul McStay in the side and a moon capsule. I think that medicines improved since then. Baz, narrate the audio you're hearing. What audio? Oh, no. No. Keith Roberts says, I saw Ida's foot. It was in a big moon boot. Looked like a Tiger Woods 3. He'll be fine though, tough Paddy. He'll be fine obviously, but it'll be a couple of weeks. I need 5 votes to close down this poll, because currently there's 4%. There's 4 people, at least 3 people. 98, need another 2 votes. Come on, and we can close down this poll. Is McCowan an upgrade on Turnbull? 99. Come on, one more vote. Somebody. There we go, 100. We've got bang on 100 votes. Celts for Life says you could choose 3 more years for Brendan or 3 more years of this squad. I'll come back to that in a minute for Celts for Life. We managed to lose 1% again. YouTube just does it. How comes it was 100 votes when I done it? 99 votes. 99 votes in a 101. Is Turnbull an upgrade? 95% say yes, 4% say no. Who are these people within our mist? Celts for Life says if you could choose 3 more years of Brendan or 3 more years of this squad. Interesting, because I think Kyogo in 3 years' time will be past it. I think Rio Hitati in 3 years' time is not going to be good enough for Celtic. He will have better have come through the system. And I think that Dyson Maida in 3 years' time won't be as fast as what he is now. So saying would you have 3 more years of this squad, I'd have definitely 3 more years of all the players that are on 5-year contracts. Because if we still manage to keep a hold of the players that are on 5-year contracts, we're doing something really good. And if we can bring in some youth along the way, that'll be even better. Anyway, Ryan gets the last one. Sponsor a hun, now only for £1 a month. Bronx says open panel after Baz. P. O'Neill says Ryan Christie, moon boots shot over the moon. There we go. That's us done and dusted for this evening. There's been over 1,600 people on the live so far. This evening there's currently 263. There's 119 thumbs up. There's a chat revenue of £2.1, which seems to be a weird amount. That came in from Mark Scott. Big shout out to Mark. Hail Baz, God bless. Thank you, Mark, for that super chat. This is done and dusted for this evening at 21:57 Celtic part-time, 20:57 and 27:28 seconds Celtic part-time. We are sitting on 19,460. We are trying to get to 20,000 before the end of the transfer window. So make sure that you subscribe. Please do. It is completely free to subscribe to the channel. If you want to become a channel membership, then please do. It's just another way of helping the channel out. And on that note, I finished all my cheesecake and jelly and ice cream stuff. Anyway, I've still got some hun tears. Have a fantastic evening, Celtic fans all around the world.